And AmaZulu King Mrs. Zuluka's Welithini will today commemorate 45 years of the Battle of Isandlwana, where the Zulu Army scored a decisive military victory against the British Army. The Battle of Isandlwana is part of a series of the Anglo-Zulu Wars fought between the Zulu and British armies back in 1879. It was led by the then Zulu King Cetshwayo Kampande. For more on this, let's cross to SABC News reporter Nonhlakanipho Magwaza. We'll go to her very shortly to find out from her who's attending that event and certainly the significance of that celebration today. Let's find out if she is with us at this stage. I understand that she is not with us at this particular time. I think we will try to re-establish a connection with her as soon as we can. Let's go to the next story now. All right, we do apologize for that. We'll go back to our colleague Nonhlakanipho Magwaza in just a moment. In other news, the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro has been selected as one of 3 cities by the Presidential Climate Commission for the establishment of the Climate Resilient Economies. This initiative seeks to implement and duplicate a comprehensive climate resilient development strategy framework and action plan for Nelson Mandela Bay by February 2025. SABC News reporter Lerato Fegisi has more. All right, we do apologize for not going to that clip as well. Let's go to this now. We do understand that all right, we have a colleague who is attending the funeral service of Violet Siwela, who is currently underway, in Shatale, Bushbuckridge. Siwela passed away last week after a brief illness. She served as chairperson of the powers at the privileged powers, the National Assembly, by the time of her passing.
Malibongwe, hai hule ANC, hai hule, hai tie ANC, hai tie, pata Ramaphosa pata, busa Ramaphosa busa, hai wine ANC dikgetho, hai wine. Thank you, program directors. The program director for this session, Comrade Deputy Chair of the Province, Comrade Speedy. Thank you so much. The bereaved family, members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, with all the officials here, except for those that are not able to be here, especially the President, who's in KwaZulu-Natal, the Secretary General, also not able to be with us today. The President has asked me to convey a message to the family. It is a written message which we will forward to the family since he was not able to be here this morning. He would have liked to be here. Nisheweta, Provincial Chairperson of the ANC, Comrade Mandla Ndlovu. Nisheweta, all the leaders of the province, the PEC region, the branches, but all other leaders of the ANC from all over the country who managed to join us this morning. La Kurintekan Karlon Sheweta Futi, our Chief Whip, Comrade Pemima Jodina, Lol Aranda Kur Hilesh. hileswi akuxeweta Comrade Pemi. There are amongst us also ministers and deputy ministers, executive mayors, MECs, MMCs, amisheweta hinkwenu. Let me also recognize the Premier of the province, Comrade Mutsweni Tsipani, and other premiers who may be here with us this morning. I want to take this opportunity as well to greet Khosi Mokoena, President of Contralesa, and all other traditional leaders who are here. Khosi Ngumalo, Khosi Siatlulo, Prince Mkachwa, hinkwavo banda bezitha labanga kona la amisheweta. Let me also greet the leadership of the Alliance, leadership of Sanko, COSATU, and the South African Communist Party, the leadership of the leagues, leadership of all other organizations of the democratic movement. Lastly but not least, Ishaweta, all the leaders of religion who are here with us today. Bafundisi Nkwabo Amishaweta. Ire absheni inkwenu la stadium. Ekanjangu wakahlabela, kanyangu wa Kasiwela, nyangu wa Kangobeni. Imbilu yotika swinene leyi ndzima ka amahlweni ka n'wina namuntlha. Ku nyika ku dzuneka ka n'wana wa hina, sesi wa hina, manana, kokwana wa hina, hima imbilu eka hundza emisaveni ka murhandziwa wa n'wina na murhandziwa wa hina hinkwerhu. Nima abetweni ra African National Congress. Maritu ange pfuki maringanile. Maritu ange pfuki aringanile ku kombisa ku vava loku hi ku tweke kusukela loko hi twa leswaku Comrade Violet a nga ha ri kona. Hi khensa ndyangu ku va mi hi lombe ke yena na ku tlhela mi n'wi nyika mpfumelelo yo tirhela vanhu va Afrika-Dzonga hi ku tinyikela loko endleke hi kona. Ha khensa swinene, inkomu. Compatriots, comrades and friends, today we are gathered here to bid farewell to a daughter, a mother, a sister, a comrade, an educator, and a dear friend. Our hearts are deeply pained by the loss of Comrade Violet Siwela, our generation's incredible, dedicated leader par excellence. Comrade Siwela left an enduring impression by dedicating herself to serving our country. We will always remember her as a devoted educator, a giver, community activist, and an agent for change. Comrade Siwela displayed her dedication to uplifting her community and her people in the 30 years she served as a caring teacher and a respectable principal before assuming political leadership responsibilities. Because of her servant leadership, in 2000 she was elected as an ANC ward councillor here in Bushbuckridge local municipality. Her leadership saw her rise within the organization's ranks over time, and she became an important figure in the African National Congress. In her rising, Comrade Siwela remained true to herself and her heritage. She undertook her responsibilities with great honor and humility, which made her inspirational, especially to the younger generation of women leaders in the community. In the ANC Women's League, but in the entire movement of our people. As said by previous speakers during the memorial and here today, Comrade Siwela held several distinguished positions in the provincial legislature, including serving as a member of the Executive Council for Human Settlements and Agriculture. Equally, as a speaker of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, Comrade Siwela inspired the confidence of her constituency through her leadership skills, such that she was entrusted with the responsibility of serving as a deputy provincial chairperson of the ANC here in Mpumalanga. I got to know and understand Comrade Violet Siwela more closely as we served on the National Executive Committee of the ANC since 2017. While serving in the national structure, Comrade Siwela served well and left a lasting legacy of furthering women's rights and interests within the ANC. Her charming personality would shine through in the encounters at these meetings, mainly as a mindful sister and a loyal comrade. Comrade Siwela was a dedicated activist who served the people of South Africa with great determination. Her passing comes when we know that she would have shown her commitment and dedication to the country and its people by fighting to secure a victory for the African National Congress in the coming national elections this year, and therefore protecting the gains of democracy. Her energy and presence were always encouraging and reminded us of our journey as individual activists in the African National Congress and as a nation. We are sad that we do so without her as we approach the end of this administration. As Apostle Paul said in the second book of Timothy, and I quote, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." Like Apostle Paul, Comrade Siwela fought a good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith. She kept her faith also in the ANC and her people. Apostle Paul further says to Timothy, "Henceforth there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me. You too, Comrade Siwela, my sister, let it be laid upon you a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to you that day. As we approach the end of this lap of the 6th democratic administration, we believe that her spirit will always be with us. Even though it hurts, we are encouraged to finish well and maintain the legacy of the revolution and struggle she fought until the end. As comrades and colleagues in the ANC, in the National Executive Committee and in Parliament, and here in Mpumalanga as well, we will surely miss our dear comrade, but she'll always live in our hearts. In remembrance of her and her journey, as activists and community members, we must ask ourselves what we should do in her honor. As people who share the same vision and ideals that she had about South Africa, which are anchored in our aspiration for a truly non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous nation, we must take the baton and continue on the path of building a better South Africa for ourselves and all our people and for generations to come. In her honor, we must be more committed to defending the gains of our democracy. When we reflect on Comrade Violet Siwela's life, we must remember the values and beliefs that have guided her journey until now. We all know that if she were with us today, Comrade Violet would encourage all of us to commit ourselves to rally behind the banner of the African National Congress and represent the organization well as we engage the people of South Africa to continue to support the ANC in improving what we have achieved over the past 30 years. Still, she would want to accelerate the speed of executing in building a better life for our people. I therefore call upon all of us to continue to defend and advance the gains of our democracy and freedom in her honor. We must be unapologetic in our commitment of creating a non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, united and prosperous South Africa. We must also continue to forge ahead in the fight against gender-based violence. We must not rest until our country is safe for every woman and a girl child, which is precisely what Comrade Violet would expect of us. As the ANC, we are confident that even though Comrade Siwela is no longer with us, she has sown the seeds of revolution that will bring about a better life, not only here in Bush, not only here in Mpumalanga, but throughout the corners of our country. As we pay our final respects to her, we thank her for walking the journey to advance the struggle for our people for a better life. And to the family, I want to say once more, Akensa Swinene, for having given her to the movement, having allowed her to serve her people without hindrance. Akensa family, Akensa Swinene Inkom. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, allow me to use this opportunity to acknowledge the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa, who, like President Mandela, rose to the occasion by speaking against the atrocities that the people of Palestine have endured. President Ramaphosa stood for principle and led the nation to this important victory where the International Court of Justice recognized that the onslaught on Palestine is akin to genocide and should be strongly condemned. Following South Africa laying a charge on the war that has been happening between Israel and Palestine, especially in Gaza in the recent past. There's a bit of wind here, blowing my scarf away. Today, as President Mandela once said, our nation is not a skunk of the world. South Africa has taken its rightful position in the international community as an advocate for justice. The African National Congress, led by President Ramaphosa, has achieved the most important outcome in dealing with matters of geopolitics in the world. But I also want to take this opportunity to thank the judges who delivered this victory. Siyababonga lama judge who were very courageous to be able to deal with the truth and stand for justice. But I also want to take this opportunity to thank one of our sons from Bush. He told me that he comes from a place called Canningmore. When President Ramaphosa decided that the government should send a delegation to the International Court of Justice, he appointed one of our young ministers to lead the team. Ingwana wangwina ubuya la Canningmore. Ute kamina ku village yamina ya la ya ukwi Ronald tanal tanal. Now, imala yelo mangutiba ube ala Canningmore so ingwana walakaya. He is the one who led our delegation to The Hague. It was a delegation composed of young people. And those of you who watch television when they presented, it was excellent. I'm sure you agree with me. Sir Ronald, you must continue to lead as well as you are doing. Thank you very much. Comrades, the African National Congress has always stood on the side of the most vulnerable. The ANC will never abandon the poor. The ANC will never abandon the mission of building a better life for all South Africans, for Africa, and for the rest of the world. The ANC, as the ANC, we are confident that is the kind of justice that Comrade Siwela was looking forward to. I know she would have found celebrating this revolutionary achievement with us today. Comrade Siwela will continue to fight and would continue to fight until the people of Palestine are free. This is what we knew about her. Nyangu waka sebela Nyangwaka Siwela Nangobeni. The death of a loved one remains one of the most unbearable aspects of life that we will never be prepared for. As we stand today at the final resting place of our beloved sister, we understand the tremendous pain and loss and the loss of hope that you may be experiencing. The finality of death always causes a collapse of our consciousness and our hearts. Indeed, your lives will never be the same. I want to encourage you, however, to consider yourself highly privileged to have had the opportunity to share moments of joy and laughter with her, as well as those of despair and endurance with your dear child, your sister, your mother, your grandmother. As the African National Congress, we are grateful to have had the chance to be with her, to work with her during her lifetime. We can say a lot about the life of our sister, but a lot remains unsaid. We hope that her spirit will continue to live on, and that in our continued efforts for a better country, her story may be a reminder that the struggle continues and that our contribution as activists are never in vain. I want to end once more by bidding farewell to our sister. Here etlela ikurula sesisizani wangwina ntiro miwendlile. May your spirit continue to live on, and like Apostle Paul, you have finished the race. Mandla, Matla. Long live the spirit of Comrade Violet Siwela. Long live. Long live the spirit of Comrade Violet Siwela. Long live. Pila guna pagati, Comrade Siwela. Pila guna pagati.
Pila guna pagati.
Pila guna pagati, Comrade Siwela. Pila guna pagati.
Pila guna pagati.
Ake senko.
Irima kwala cheche. Oh, yo, we are na ba pilu setat.